What is this pedal? At low gain, it sounds like an uncolored overdrive and like a grainy fuzz at high gain. The tone is a tilt EQ similar to one of a big muff, and there's a switch on the side to bypass it. Nothing extraordinary so far, so why am I so confused? Is it because I wasn't told what this pedal was designed to do? And has it even been made for bass? Welcome back to The Wetterbass. Please watch this video till the end, there's a big surprise. And if you're new here, please subscribe. I release a video weekly of effects for bass for the intrepid minds of bassists. So the reason why the images of me playing are in purple is because this pedal is an unsexy prototype to look at, except for the captivating and inspiring color of its LED and its stunning sound. It's handmade by Luciano from Don Poniz, who comes from Italy yet lives in Spain. This is also confusing. Why would a guy leave a beautiful Latin European country where the weather's nice and the food even better to another beautiful Latin European country where the weather's nice and the food even better? I met Luciano in 2019 and had a blast testing some of his boutique creations. Then we started a long-distance platonic relationship that led to nothing, until now, based purely on pinpointing the most complex needs of bass players when it comes to effects and pedals. Yes, his patience is at par with his ability to make you feel as someone finally understands you. See, we bassists like to make things complicated for others to make our life simpler. Despite my insights and many intelligent observations as to what I think would be great to include in a fuzz pedal, for example, at least a clean low-pass filter or a clone type of gain for bass, for example, if it's not too much to ask, Luciano finally sent me this instead. Thinking it would quench my thirst or feed my hunger for being the first to finally test a Don Poniz bass-specific pedal. However, as I already mentioned, I am confused. I cannot tell whether this pedal is more than what we agreed on, or maybe I have yet to discover its secret identity, or is it perhaps just a bone throwing at a pedal-starving bassist? Me. Anyway, in the first song, the pedal sounded like a beautiful synthy fuzz. Let me know if you agree. So why not investigate further this facet by adding an octave pedal? Adding a touch of grit bypassing the EQ makes the OC2 sound even better. So low gain fuzz? Well, not that fast, it's not that easy. Sounds like Overdrive, right? Well, let's screw this and let's go full gain and make up our minds once and for all. Let's doom. Can it sound like a modern distortion? Well, yeah. By the way, my bass has its internal clean boost switched on, making this pedal even more transparent. Strange. One would expect the gain to be higher. See why I'm confused? So this could also be a distortion pedal then. Maybe? Let's try another setting. This sounded like fuzz to me. So the higher the gain, the higher the grain. At low gain, it's really transparent, letting a lot of clean signal pass through, especially with the tone switched off, resulting in a bit more volume and drive, by the way. Raising the tone knob increases the fuzziness, but the good thing is that it doesn't lose any low end. Lows that you can actually boost by turning the tone knob down. Talking about that, turning the knobs up and down is confusing too. It completely goes against my logic, which is the absolute and unquestionable logic, obviously. So I reinstalled the knobs downside up, contrary to how I received them, so that I could visualize the settings without lying down on the floor, or using a mirror, or picking up the pedal. Back to the tone. Why on earth would I need to turn the knob all the way up and lose all of my low end? Above 6 out of 9, it's quite pointless, in my opinion. Could this be a guitar pedal and I have been tricked by Luciano? Now, I'm being harsh, but it's for the greater good. And maybe that way I'll get Luciano to be offended and take me more seriously. Also, what's the point of having a volume that you cannot use above 2? Luciano, you don't have to be that nice with bass players. We don't need that much boost, especially for us coffee addicts. Final words, this is a fuzz drive. A new concept, let there be light. Purple light. Actually, a good name for this prototype would be the Purple Fuzz Drive. Sounds good, eh? If you have a better name for it, which is not that complicated, let me know. So I kept the best for last. Here is Luciano himself to talk about his creation. Luciano, the stage is yours.
Oh, this guy looks familiar.
Name reveal.
Yes, that's my friend Jean-Marc, who's a great luthier and is a great bass player. Is a real cool guy.
I love you too.
And he's getting crazy because of a prototype pedal I sent to him time ago, as a result of our long conversations about gear, pedals, of course, related to bass. And it's no surprise to me that he's really great at describing the sound, the tone, the dynamic. So that's why I had the idea to send the pedal, which is like a bare aluminum enclosure with, 3 controls and the foot switch, of course.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the foot switch, like always. How stupid of me. But it's a pedal, so duh.
But no real info or hint about what the pedal was. And I didn't say anything to him just because I wanted Jean-Marc to test the pedal without being biased in a way. And that's hard because we are heavily biased by that brand, that magic component, all the mojo hype, etc., etc. So now he wants to know what that pedal is.
Well, yeah, come on, spit it out.
And it's time to reveal that, but not that fast.
Huh?
So first of all, I want to say thank you because I really appreciate it. And well, yes, I met him almost 3 years ago, in Madrid for this great guitar show, and we hit it off like immediately. He's a really down-to-earth person, and so it was fun. I started to talk about that, and then he tested one of my pedals, which was a FUZZ box actually, and he started obviously giving a very interesting feedback as a bass player. I mainly deal with guitar players, so there are few important differences.
Yes, we are much more complex creatures.
So we just talk about that, and then we decided that we want to do something together in the future. So few months ago, sent this prototype. He tried that out, tested it in a very careful way, and his we were messaging. He was telling me his first impressions on the pedal, etc. Very, very accurate, very say spot on as always. So I just want to let him know what that pedal is. Actually, in that case, it's not an original circuit, as most of the time in the pedal making industry, but it's like a modified version of a pedal which came out in 1978, at the beginning of 1978, I think. So some people try to sell that vintage pedal as 1977 because of the date stamped on the ports, but they were probably leftovers from 77. The official launch, according to the company, was in 1978, and it was just built for 3 years till 1981 when it got discontinued. Well, that pedal is probably based, the idea, I mean, it's not verified information actually, well, on a quite popular circuit for musicians, which floated the year before, so 77, when a very cool book for, I would say, pedal makers, but that was not so, was different from now, actually, the situation. So that book, which came out, was Craig Anderton's Electronic Projects for Musicians, which is like the Bible for many of us, or at least if you're older than 40, I would say. So one of those, it was a very cool book on pedal making, so information, technical stuff, etc., and projects. So you could have really built different types of effects, most popular one. And the project 24 was called...
Yes?
Tube Sound FUZZ.
I knew it! Except for the tube part.
If I remember that correctly, yes. So, when Jean-Marc told me, oh, I think it's a FUZZ. And I said, no, maybe it's an Overdrive. Or is it something different? Is something in between? Is it a distortion? We didn't know about that. Well, we knew actually. He didn't know about that. It was labeled originally as FUZZ, though it worked more as an Overdrive. In fact, one of the, let's say, clues which were actually included in the prototypes, that the basic controls were labeled as classic, and there was a gain pot, so that usually associated with overdrives rather than fuzz pedals. But maybe I just labeled that control gain to confuse him. We don't know that yet, at least you, my friend. Well, so originally there is a connection with this project 24 from that book, and maybe, but this is again not verified, the company developed that idea, adding more controls, and that became the pedal that I modified and built for Jean-Marc, and that is the prototype. Okay, that's probably the right time. No further ado, and we want to know what is that. So it was basically based on the Electro Harmonix hot tubes.
I heard it, but I didn't try one, so that's why I didn't have a reference. Otherwise, I would have nailed it.
Which is an overdrive. It's a great overdrive, actually. And it's one of my favorite overdrive pedals. Probably the top 3, no doubt about that. What's cool about that pedal is that it was originally intended for guitar players, but there was a very cool tone effect slide switch to bypass the tone control from the circuit, and that made the pedal very cool for bass players as well. That's why I thought of him. So I changed a bit the EQ and some minor changes, like trying to add a bit of the bar times technology to a very old circuit, because we're talking about 1978, as I said before. And so there is a very cool overdrive, which can be fantastic for bass player, and he just confirmed that actually.
No, I didn't. Yes, I did.
So basically, that's it.
What? That's it? And it took you more than 8 minutes? Good thing you're not from Argentina, because otherwise it would have taken you more than 20 minutes. So good job, I guess.
That's it. It's based on the Electro Harmonix hot tubes, and some changes, of course, and adapted to be also used by bass players, by great bass players like this one.
Oh, stop it. You're making me blush.
I hope you like it and you enjoy the prototype. And that's just the beginning, remember.
Are you expecting me to say something? I don't know what the future holds for us, but hopefully we get a hot tubes for bass players from Don Poniz. That would be awesome. And call it the Purple Bass Fuzz Drive. Yeah.